You're welcome to the show. Compliments of the season. How are you? Yes, the great thing. I want to thank God for Jesus who came to this world to die for our sins because he has paid the supreme price. He did not commit any sin. He came to be a peacemaker. And one will expect that the world will accept him. But what did the world do? They killed him just because he's a peaceful person. He did not come as a lion. He came as a lamb. And trust people to deal with the lion, they will deal with the lamb. I've never seen where people really face a lion. They always run away. But the lamb, they will gather sticks, bow and arrow, and deal with it. Be that as it may, we want to thank God, giving us Jesus Christ, who came to this world because of us. And the next few days, we'll be celebrating his resurrection, which means victory over death, victory over sin. That's my message for this session. And I want to thank God that we are alive. And I pray that if Jesus carries his coming, sparing us, we'll celebrate more Easters in Jesus' name. I'm Wale Ogwande, your host on this program. The name of the program is Voters Forum, and we have a bumper package for you today. It has to do with our life as a nation. And I brought somebody who is going to give us something to take home, to chew, to ponder about. Not only is he a pastor equally, he is a journalist among many recruits, and of course, a philosopher, and again, he's a minister in songs. Let us see how it will pan out. But for now, let's quickly go for our future. And when we come back, we'll unveil our guests and we'll crack it. And we'll get to business right away. And of course, the topic for today is government policy. Failed from policy and its implication on development of the people. We've seen all over the country, those of us who have been opportunity to go around Nigeria, abandoned projects all over. All these abandoned projects are policies never saw the light of the day. In 1975, we are told that by 1972 rather, we are told by 1975 we will have our first place in Nigerian car, and as a result, pan, and that's Peugeot Automobile of Nigeria and Volkswagen of Nigeria. We are all busy running up and down, giving money and so on. I remember the Volkswagen factory in Ojo, and of course the pan factory in Kaduna. Along the line, Steya came up in Kano, all sorts of. And of course, another company, the name just ran away from Enugu. In Enugu, they were to manufacture. They get some trucks too that running up and down, helping people. Then we have the various steel rolling mills in Shoko, in Ajaokuta, in all over the country too, to be doing great works as possible. They are all to bring about development, to bring about industrial growth, and of course to enhance employment. All these are government policies. They all ended up with the dustbin. Of course, going around, there are so many state governments that initiated housing policies, housing estates for their workers. We see the light of the day. So many highways that were not built, or that were abandoned, or that were done moribund. So many. The list endless. What happens is that one government will go, another will come. They will bring about a new policy. What I know, what my little study of government is that there is what we call continuum in government. Government is always there. What one government does, the next government is coming up, pick it up, finish that one, and start another one. But here in Nigeria, once the government goes, that policy goes, the projects they has got, they are on, go away with them, and we begin to see all sorts of confusion all over the land. And it has not taken us anywhere. Rather, it has brought about stunted growth. That is a shame that we are not being able to manufacture tires, there was a great industrialist. His name was Adeola Obitola. He was the Ogbeni Oja of Ijebuland. The man single-handedly started a tire company in the country called Obitola Tires. That one is moribund. In between, some foreign investors came with Dunlop Nigeria Limited. That one too is there. To the extent that now I'm not sure there is any company manufacturing tire in Nigeria. What we have are brought in tires that are called Tokubo, and all these ones has caused millions of deaths on Nigerians' road as a result of tire loss. Well, our guest is, I told you, we brought a guru. He's itching. All my prologue is pinching him, so he wants to come up. And of course, I'll bring you on. We want to welcome Mr. Paul Dada. He is a senior editor with an online publication.
PM News.
And of course, I told you, he is a man of God, he's a minister of God, a pastor, and equally, he has a passion for music. And all these ones, one way or the other, I'm sure they will let out of the bag as this program continues. Compliments for the season once more.
Thank you very much. Wish you the same.
I want to thank God for life. And of course, what we have gone through in this country, really, I'll tell you, when I was growing up, I never expected that this will be. Is the Operation Feed the Nation? And that one ran away. Is the Operation Feed the Nation that one will talk about? Or this PAN and VON program as even Proda, I remember Proda again in Enugu. You know Proda, this thing about Product Development Agency that has to support young men and women who design or who conceive ideas, and all of them, they have not seen the light of the day. Nigeria is, rather than progressing, we are moving back. Is there a reason for this?
Thank you very much. I think the problem is just hydra-headed. You don't even know where. The more you, sometimes it's like the more you look, the less you see. But I think one of the major, for me, if you want to simplify it, one of the major problems in Nigeria is that you have men that are stronger than institutions. We don't respect institutions. The man who was president before the current one comes from Katsina. He did not, the man who is there now did not move the headquarters of government to his hometown. That tells you something. The one who was there before the man from Katsina came from Bayelsa. Now the man from Bayelsa did not move into his village. He came to Abuja. The one after him came to Abuja. The one that is there came to Abuja. Well, I'm trying to make a point here that Aston Rock itself is an institution. The federal government is an institution. The federal government of Nigeria is always the federal government of Nigeria. The president of Nigeria is an office. Okay? Men who occupy it will change from time to time, but the presidency remains the same, at least until the constitution is changed. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that we don't respect institutions. So when people come, everybody comes to shine, you know. They abandon the policies of the previous government. They want to do their own, or even abandon it altogether. I'll give you an example. Now, when we're discussing this, I just want to give you a very good example of Lagos. I know that when Fashola was governor, it came about this tree planting policy, you know. The tree planting policy was not just to beautify Lagos. It was supposed to help with climate change. Because everybody knows, those who are familiar with the conditions of the climate, they know about the depletion of the ozone layer and all of that. So apart from the beautification of Lagos, we saw trees everywhere, and people were encouraged to plant trees in their community. I do not think that the government that succeeded him, though people praise that government, Governor Ambode, I do not think he pursued that policy with zeal. And I do not think this current governor, you know, I once asked that question. I can't remember what forum I asked the question. I think it was a government forum. I'm trying to remember. And somebody said, no, the policy continues. I said, I'm in this state. I live in this country. Where is it? I do not see trees everywhere. So you talked about, look at the rubber thing you talked about. Yes. Where, you know, remember Michelin and all of that. So what about the textile industry? How come?
I used to live around the Kaduna industrial estate.
Yeah.
Kaduna. what they do there, totally, you see cutting from the north. And of course, what are they busy doing with it? Manufacturing.
Exactly. Another thing that even bothers me so much is her management of water. Gone are those days. You know, I grew up to see public tap. You know, even in your house you could get government. You know, you could tap from, and then you know. I grew up. I saw water corporations. You know, actually functioning. But we privatize water, which is supposed to be human right. Water is human right. A lot of people cannot get potable water. Now we have given the responsibility to provide water to pure water factories, to bottled water factories, companies. So you dig your own borehole and all of that. So many people don't have access to it. And then we now depend on World Bank and IMF. We collect loans for projects, and then we are not looking inwards on how to build.
My problem, just as I just said now, this money that are collected from these international agencies, are they put to use properly? Taking into consideration various revelations now that you see, the way these funds are siphoned.
The World Bank is very happy to be giving you loans, because you see, the truth of the matter is that you become perpetually subservient to the World Bank. And even the loans are not well managed. We do not see justification. I mean, what we see, I mean, very obvious, does not justify. It's about the grant corruption and all of that. And I think we are even very happy to keep collecting these loans, but that's free money for people. However, we should be thinking of alternatives. We should be thinking of alternatives to income generation. I mean, we should look inwards and see alternatives even to...
Before we go to the alternatives, I want us to look at why did we get to this level before this alternative? Because to me, maybe the next question I'll ask you is that, have we had statesmen at the point of affairs at all levels? At the local, at the state, at the national. I'll let you just into it. I have never held government office, but by virtue of my work and my activities, I ensure that the community is well run anywhere I am. I ensure that I add value to the environment I am. Even if I travel. The other day I was outside this country. Of course, it's not my country. And I saw some people, an accident. And I came down. I knew that definitely that those people there too, they are up to the task. The system there will quickly, but I arranged first aid because I was there when it happened. Yeah. Right? I understand what, yes. I was there when it happened, and my system I jumped out. My colleague, my brother that was with me said, don't go, they will sort it out. But to me, I had to do that. Then where am I going is that statesmen, local government, statesmen, governorship or at the state, statesmen at the presidency, that they should have the feel of being statesmen rather than being tribal bigot or selfish people. If
you have statesmen at all, they are very, very few. They are very, very few, and they have little or no impact in this country. We do not have statesmen. We don't have many statesmen in the mode of Awolowo, for example. That was a statesman in governance. That was a man who came for one purpose, to impact on the people. And up till now, we still see the evidence of the development that Awolowo, the estates, the Lupeju Industrial Estate, the Wemabod Estate. Okay, look at a man like Jakonde. Jakonde, interestingly, many people don't even know that Jakonde did not have the privilege of having a university education. People don't know that. He was a very consummate journalist. Jakonde gave us Lasso. Jakonde, you remember the estate, Jakonde estate? Remember the Jakonde attended Jakonde Blocks primary school. They call it Patricia. It was a derivative name. It was a derivative name, but we had education, free books, and all of that. These people actually, and of course, you know that Jakonde rode on the philosophy of his mentor, Awolowo. So we have people that came for one thing. Even there are some people there are some military rulers that are more of statesmen than politicians. You may want to criticize Gowon. Of course, there are things to criticize Gowon for when he was head of state. But this man, we're told, did not dip his hand into government. In fact, he did not have a house. He did not have a house. It was after he left power that a house was built for him in his community. Tafawa Balewa, when he was on leave as prime minister, he took a train from his house, from Lagos to his house in Bauchi. A BBC journalist wanted to interview him, so he saw some kids selling sugarcane, and he said, "Oh, I'm looking for the house of your minister." And he said, "Look," he pointed to the place, and when he got there, he saw the man sitting on the floor. He said, "I just saw him to him now, with his children, eating sugarcane." The humility, the simplicity. You know, these people were not there to amass wealth. They, in their own way, in their own wisdom, they were not perfect men. Nobody is perfect. We can still look at Awolowo and say, okay, you could have done this better. We can look at Tafawa and say, you could have done this better. So we don't have so many statesmen. We have people that became, and this thing, I must tell you, that corruption became institutionalized under the government of Babangida.
Yes.
Of course, Shagari was accused of corruption, but Shagari's alleged corruption is child's play compared to what happened. And since then, corruption became a monster. It became it eroded statesmanship. Now, let's now come to you talk about the issue of local government. Oh my. I keep telling people that sometimes, we can sit here and blame the government and the federal government. You have not done this right, you have not done that right. Everybody points to the president. Those are I can assure you that there are people who don't know the name of the chairman of their local government. They don't even know the name of the chairman of the local government, and yet they vote. Some people, even when they vote, they just vote the party logo. You understand? They don't know who is there. They just vote the party logo. Because maybe, for example, they're supporting APC, they don't know whether the person who is supposed to be a chairman at that level is a criminal or something. They just vote. They just vote, and then the man disappears. I used to live in an area sometime, but the man is chairman. I learned he just moved to Lekki or Aja after becoming even the road to his house was very, very deplorable. I went to his office one day. I was challenging him, and he's just leave my office. I challenged him. As a journalist, I went in as a journalist. He didn't know I was living so close to him. So I challenged him, and at some point, he told me to leave, to leave his office. So you have people, the grassroots. Look at the inner streets. Go anywhere in Lagos, for example. Apart from places like Ikeja that are a little bit more developed, go to places like Ayobo, Abule Egba, and all of those places. You see bad roads. Roads are supposed to be handled by local government. If I was asked somebody, say, what is the function? What do you think of the function of local government? Say, the only thing I see is that local government officials come and collect those shop owners and everything. So there are no statements at that level. They are just parasites. People who just want to feed on public wealth. The other time, some years back, we were complaining that how come a councillor who may not even have more than a school at in some cases will be any more than a university professor. Now, maybe that complaint would not have been necessary if they are working. Because being a councillor is supposed to be a very honorable work to do. It's supposed to be service. But we don't know them. Don't know what they do. We don't even know the laws they make. Because the council is supposed to be a lawmaker at that level. We don't know the laws they make. We don't know what they do. They are just there doing nothing. So we don't have statesmen. We really have them.
Now we must have statesmen. Where must we have statesmen? The days are closing by on almost everyone.
Yeah.
Nigeria is getting interesting by the day. And the only way administrative lash is the production of statesmen.
Yeah.
Not only at the federal, but
at every level.
At every level.
The lowest level.
Every level. Yeah. So how can we talk to our people now to begin to look for statesmen? Because we can get statesmen. Like I have friends who work at the human resources, so they call themselves headhunters. Is there a way we can headhunt statesmen, or we'll just allow it go just like that? Like one of the cliché in our advert, in our statement that we always make every time on this program.
Yeah.
Don't organize yourself. This is the time to organize ourselves. The politicians and the political class are organizing themselves. And amongst them, we don't have statesmen amongst them. What we have are people who are selfish. But how can the voters now get statesmen?
That is a very, very good question. Honestly, this is a question that we need to be asking ourselves, and then we must find a way to answer it. Otherwise, we'll keep on complaining perpetually. Unfortunately, it's a very painstaking task, but it's very doable.
It's doable.
It's
I'm
doable.
happy you said that.
It's doable. It may take some time,
Yes.
but it's doable. Now, we need people of integrity. We need people that have vision to come up and reorientate the minds of our people. And that reorientation must start at the grassroots level. We need to get to a point where we begin to talk to the bailiffs, the emirs, the chief, the heads of.
Can I tell you that you are doing that? Right?
Yeah, I wanted to say voter assembly. I want to say voters awareness. Sorry, I wanted to say even your organization. Yes, I wanted to actually say that it's part of what you are doing. Yes. But you can't do it alone.
Yes. And that's why I'm happy you
exactly.
I set a trap for you.
I was actually going to mention your organization.
Okay.
In my intervention, but it's not left to you.
Yes.
Even people like me, journalists. You see, we cannot continue like this.
Yes.
An average Nigerian. Let me tell you what the evil we are doing to our children. We are raising our children to believe that public service is a place to make money. We are not educating the people. We are not enlightened. I was in the north some time ago, some years back. I will mention who was contesting for president. Two powerful persons were contesting for president in the north. And there was this boy, Hausa boy. We're just talking. But this was early in the 2000s. And this was the way he said to me. He said, whether it's for anything, something like that, as long as so and so are my religion and my language, I go vote for them. Come on.
Just like that.
How do you change the mindset of that person? Maybe from your ethnic group or from your I've ruled this country and we are still the way we are. You know, how do we tell that young man, that semi-literate young man who goes to snatch ballots, that what the politicians give you, the 200, even if they give 20 of you 200,000 naira, all you can do, you go and drink or something, or patronize a prostitute, and then that is it. That doesn't solve your problem. How do we tell that person that politician is not thinking about your future and the future of your children? How do we tell them that this ballot snatching, this disruption of the process does not help? So there was a time in the country that votes counted. There was a time in this country that people voted their conscience. How do we tell people that, look, they can't buy don't vote for people because somebody has bought your call, somebody has given you money. What I'm trying to make is that it's a lot of work. A lot of people have to come in. Traditional rulers, even religious leaders. Even religious leaders have to say, look. Don't go sell your conscience. If you must vote, vote according to your conscience. Don't follow politicians who are just rapists, who rape the system. It's going to take a whole lot of things to happen, but we can orientate ourselves. And then we must show, as so long Nigeria is together, you know, we must understand that we are different religions. We are different ethnic groups. We must recognize that and respect that.
We'll go on a short so that we have some peace and some take water and that. Then when we come back, we'll be on the homework stretch. Don't go away. And of course, we will get and tell your people, those who are not around, you can just phone them, that we are on real time online. Voters Forum is a program. And of course, you can get us on the line, on the go through your Play Store. Just go to the Play Store and look for the Galaxy app and click on it, and you will get us Voters Forum real time online. And of course, you will talk this conversation. Don't go away. We just want to go for a short right back. In a brief time, we having in the studio before this during the break, and we are back. Because the topic is government policies, abandoned projects, and development, and how has it led us? So far, we have discussed in the first leg the temperament, the mindset, and the challenges that are befalling us, and we lead at the footstep of lack of statesmen, those who have the passion to grow the country. Our guest mentioned some statesmen who did a great job in the country, and we still have room for some of us who are growing and those who are interested to becoming statesmen. That's the only way. Those of us who studied the politics and the government of other countries, who did philosophy, who did economics and so on, I don't want to mention names here. We know that indeed these are what really made some countries tick, and those people who really gave their all for countries. I was watching a film how the steel industry developed in America through the effort of one man. Painstakingly, he developed the steel industry, encouraging the building industry to now use that steel to grow and, of course, to build tall buildings called skyscrapers, using steel to support the block work and so on and so forth. We have them all over, and they are in this country. And I don't think that we should allow that to continue. I know that the book of 1 Timothy 6, 9 was talking about money being the root of all evil. And that is the evil that is causing the problem in this country. Who are supposed to use the money for the development of this country, using the opportunity, have now turned it into their own for their own benefit to the detriment of the people. So we're talking about statesmen. Before we move to this, I just want you to bury it. Can we still have statesmen in this country?
We can have statesmen in this country.
How can we get them?
We can have statesmen in this country. It's just to look for them. Honestly, we need to hunt for people who can. We need to hunt for masters of money, not slaves of money.
Okay.
Now, the people that, use money, misuse money, when they see money, they use it for their own personal purposes. Those are slaves of money. Money becomes their master. When they see money, they lose their sense of composure, they lose their sense of decency. But those are servants of mammon. To use the biblical language, you see, become a servant. Those are serving. That's how money becomes mammon when people can't control themselves, when they see money. Now, they are the people that want to have the whole world. Even if you build a mansion, a 10-story mansion, whatever it is, and you can only sleep in one room. If you can only sleep in it, and you cannot occupy even a room, you can't. Yeah, you can. Now, but we need people, masters of money, people who will use our resources, the resources to develop the people. Now, Nigeria, this country is blessed. We cannot say that this country, we cannot find people who will truly change this country. But you know the problem. Sometimes, some of these people don't have money to throw around. They are not that rich. They don't have access to, gone are those days when the time of the UPNs, MPNs, the MPNs, the action groups of this world, GMPP of this, people funded the parties with their 10 kobo, 1 kobo. But now, how do you make a statement out of somebody who can single-handedly buy nomination forms for all the lawmakers, all the people that are contesting for legislative office in the state? That person who can single-handedly fund a party, that's not a statement. We don't need people like, honestly, let us be very honest. If we continue to give platforms for those people, money bags, we cannot have the Nigeria of our dreams. You understand what I'm saying? And it lies with the people. There's one of the political parties says power to the people, but it's only on paper. But it's not a reality. The people have one power, and it's the strongest power. Only that people are not unitedly wielding that power. The power to choose their leaders and the power to reject leaders. For example, in 2027, do people want to re-elect this government? If we're going to elect this government, are we electing this government because this government has performed? Or are we electing this government because this man is from our ethnic group, he belongs to our religion, or because of chronism, fact, other things? We should decide that. Are we electing because he has performed very well, or is setting Nigeria on a path of what? On a path of victory So these are the things of, well, failure. These are the questions people need to ask them. People need to honestly ask themselves this question. Not because his supporters or his followers have money to give, to throw around. See, if we don't, we need to, what I'm saying is that let us hunt for people who are genuinely interested in this country. If we search for them, we will find them. They are there on our streets. Some of them can become our councillors. Some of them can become our chairmen. Some of them can become our governors.
I'm sorry to interject. I'm a grassroots person.
Yeah.
I'm involved in community governance. And I know that there are very few people who take it upon themselves to ensure that the community is well.
Exactly.
In terms of internal security, in terms of welfare, in terms of ensuring that things go on well. They are various communities. Even some of them do not even belong to the community association, but they ensure that they make sure that the community is well. And to me, those are statesmen. Because, and of course, nobody pays them for what they do. I know about 1 or 2 or 3 various people in various communities. Like
even in my community, I know someone like that who is very outstanding.
So if such people, can they be reached or can they be thrown up? And of course, such people don't have money.
Exactly.
They don't have money, but they have the time, they have the passion, and they have the interest of bringing out and managing and resources. Because one of them, he has no money, he will be calling the various big men around that, please, we need you to support us to do this, we need you to support us to do that. And of course, they will get it about something about criminality or something relating with DPO or something, and so on and so forth. Can't you have such people?
Are we ready to support those people? Now, if that person you are talking about, seeks the people's votes, and a money bag, a political money bag comes. Now that man, we have seen his virtues, we have seen what he can do, but he does not. The only thing, he doesn't have money. Here is this corrupt money bag. He sends his agents to give us money. He doles out funds. Maybe because he wants to vote, he starts digging boreholes for us, doing certain things which he will not remember to do, after he's voted. So, are we ready? So, it lies with us to say, oh, Mr. So-and-so, Dr. So-and-so, Pastor so-and-so, Alaji so-and-so, okay? We have seen you. We want you to represent us. We want you to lead us.
Of this late governor, Reverend Adasu.
That's baby, right? Yeah.
Because that's what brought him up. He had no money, but he was a clergyman who was working and serving community. Can we have some people come? People rally around them.
Nigeria has
because we can't continue like this.
Nigeria has an abundance of people like that. Nigeria is a blessed country, education-wise. Talk about morality, talk about integrity. Nigeria, see, sometimes we just say Nigeria is corrupt, Nigeria is corrupt, Nigeria is corrupt. Not everybody. Let us wait. Let us have the right people in power. We have living this. We have seen something like, we are not looking for a perfect system. Human beings are not perfect. But this is still the country of the Awolowos, of the Ziks,
of the Amadu
Bellos,
Aminu Kano,
the man of the people, the man of the Talakawas. Now, what are we talking about? What we are saying is, this is the country that produced those people. This is the country that produced those people. Sometimes it beats me. Sometimes when we recall the past, we are actually saying, please, let us say, we should have even moved, we should have even made progress from what these people we just mentioned built. But now we look at the past with nostalgia.
We now say the good old days.
The good old days. We become nostalgic when we look at the good old days. When we should have even gone. I mean, if people do this, I don't believe that anybody sees from the grave. People that have gone there. But if indeed people see from the grave, Awolowo should be looking at Nigeria here and be celebrating now. As Zik should be looking at Nigeria and be celebrating. But if the dead do turn in the grave, I am sure they are turning. They have turned a zillion times over.
In anger.
Is this the same Nigeria
that we bequeathed to you people? I turn it into another thing.
If Awolowo were to come to the southwest today, he will not recognize it anymore.
You will.
If look the grand corruption.
Sorry, sir. If he gets to the Weber bottle you mentioned.
Yes.
Because then, if you go there, it is cocoa that will be smelling. Soon as you get to the Abafemi roundabout, down to the Ogba, the end of the place. The whole place smelling cocoa because the whole place is
now the cocoa you mentioned, for example, the cocoa you mentioned, it was with cocoa revenue that I will not build this southwest. What are we doing about cocoa?
That's where I'm going.
I learned that Ondo State has the second largest deposit of bitumen in the world.
Yes.
After Venezuela.
Yes.
What are we doing with it?
Nothing.
What are we doing with it?
Nothing.
So, I mean, when oil came, oil was a blessing, but it became a curse. Look at the grand corruption in the NNPC. NNPC is one of the most translucent, most translucent entities in this country. I don't know what they are going. It's a monster, big monster. I don't know what is going to, how we are going to handle NNPC. So what I'm trying to say is that I want people like I will not had foresight. I was healthy competition among the regions.
Yes.
So what are we building?
Let's start, as we want to build a better Nigeria. How can the voters now be, how do I call it now, be keyed into it? Because to me, it lies in the hands of the voters. It lies within the voters because we run a democratic system. And that is where the voters come in through their active participation. Not a situation where, because I'm involved in elections activities and electoral activities, you've been having a minority government in this country where less than 50%. In fact, the last election, 37% or so, percentage of people who took part in the election.
Exactly.
37%. So how can we up the game and increase the percentage of those who are involved in the electoral process?
It is because our people,
so as to bring in statesmen on board.
It is because our people actually don't have faith in the system. No, that is why you have vote party.
But we must remove it.
Yes, we must remove it. That it lies on thought leaders, men of conscience, to mobilize the people. We need the Ganifa emis even at the lowest level. And you even remember Ganifa emi floated National Conscience Party. We did not sway. People did not even record with it. They didn't look at his side. Imagine the man who fought for the masses, who even did a lot of pro bono. I think he did a lot of pro bono cases.
The masses abandoned it. I'm even happy about that one. Right? If somebody is fighting for you, are you not supposed to support?
Exactly. What was the name of his party? National Conscience Party. So a man who was walking consensus, people did not care. But everybody, PDP then it was an amalgamation of people of different tendencies, bedfellows. People went for it, but nobody cared about the noise making.
In closing, I'm happy you brought the Fawemi factor because that is what has been agitating my mind. Now that you have brought it, how can we speak to it? There are people, somebody who has that mind. I don't know, maybe you've gone to his library, you enter that library, the Fawemi library, somewhere in the Central Business District of Ibadan. You see what this man has in mind. The government did not do such a thing. This is a private individual who put such a thing on the ground. And of course, apart from his pro bono activities that you are saying, can't people rally around some people like that? How can they now abandon him or her?
I think we should just keep prioritizing our people. But it's something that is not going to happen overnight. Okay. It's going to take a long time to change the status quo because we're already used to this. Okay. That last election, some people came up and said they were obedient movements.
Yes.
And I was telling them, I said personally, I did not see Peter Obi as different from all these people. Yeah. But I told them, I said, now, you cannot win people by insulting them. They were very insulting and all of that. You should be more persuasive. This is where I'm going. If at all, I didn't believe in that movement, I still don't believe in it. I'm sorry. I don't believe in it. Okay, but if you are going to build a movement, to get righteous people of integrity, it's a slow process. You need to be very persuasive, reach the grassroots, reorientate people's mind. Education is a very powerful tool. And I'm talking of just going, people have gone to school, but they are not. Nigeria has so many universities now. We touch on our graduates so easily. First degree, you can almost pick it from the gutter. So, but let people be orientated. Go to the schools. Remember that even students were just at the forefront of activism those days. Students were trained to become idealistic, ideological. what the schools we do have ideological students. They're just there trying to survive and all of that, trying to hustle. So go to the campuses, teach the young people. The youths have energy, train them. If youths only come out in this country and vote for the right person, Nigeria will change.
And that's my problem. Now that again you have within 1 minute we talk that. Why is it that the youths, rather than being involved and engaged, particularly in the electoral process, are busy, nonchalant, and on election day to now add salt to injury? See them busy playing football.
The truth of the matter is that the people, there's no good mentoring for them. That's the truth of the matter. There's no good mentoring. In Nigeria now, everybody just wants to survive anyhow. Just survive. Just live sharp. Just live. Just survive. And again, the quick, make it quick syndrome. Let me just do anything to make money. Also, even in churches now, it's all about, the kind of teachings you hear. Come to Christ and you are going to have all the... So everything, everywhere is messed up. The mentality of it is messed up. Turn around. Breakthrough. Now you hear. Such that you can even go and steal money and buy a generator for your church. And your pastor will not ask you what source of your income. He will bless you. Brother so and so, thank you. God bless you. And he will even make him a good example, a role model. Say, look, brother so and so, he has donated the Kano generator and blah, blah, blah. What are you, the rest of you doing? So, see, this thing, everybody needs to come in and see how to build a movement of Nigerians, a movement of that is a movement, especially young people. Let them come out and change the story of this country.
Yes.
It is doable.
Yes. I want to agree with our guest today that changing Nigeria and taking us to the next level is doable. It's doable. I just watch our people, they just waste their time on their social platforms. What's it called? Sending all sorts of gossips and so on. You can use your the social media platform to build this country, mobilize Nigerian youth. Youth use the platform to send messages, positive messages about what you, the youth, can do collectively. Because, I did a little bit of economics and I know that the youth, the group now, the age group of the youth is always higher than that of the above 60.
Yes.
And of course below 50.
Sure.
Below 30.
Yeah.
So you, the youth, you are in the greater majority to shape the destiny of this country. And it is in your hands for you to organize yourself, not to begin to antagonize and to become your enemies. You can't go further. The world ahead is for you. And that's why you come in. The youths are the growth of the engine growth of the nation. And of course, to me, people say that the economy is the engine of growth. No, I say it is the youth. Because if the youth are united, that's the engine of growth. You can make this country better. And of course, all this idea of having a frustrated future will be a thing of the past if you all come together to ensuring that you search for some people or support the government or make proposals for your own progress in life. It's not about suffering. We didn't come here to suffer in this world because that is not even God wished for us. The wish of God for us is to prosper and to be in good health, even as our soul prospereth. I will leave you with that word, and Chair, maybe by the time we come and meet next week, we'll have another guest and we'll have an interesting topic for us to chew on. Till then, I'm Wale Ogwadi, your host on this program, and we want to really thank our guest, Mr. Paul Dada.
It's my pleasure to be here.
It's a great time with him. He has really opened up to many underground issues, and I hope we'll be able to now dig those underground issues up and that we begin to work on them for a better Nigeria. Don't do anything against the law. Till we meet again next week. Again, I'm Wale Ogwadi saying have a good time.